Hide 3 bay leaves in this corner and say goodbye to poverty, Buddhist teachings. They won't teach you this in school, but 3 humble bay leaves placed with intention can shift the energy in your home and your life. This isn't about superstition or blind belief. What I'm about to share comes from ancient Buddhist wisdom quietly passed down through monks and healers for generations. And today, in our noisy, anxious, modern world, it's more powerful than ever. This isn't magic, it's mindfulness in motion. A simple practice rooted in compassion, awareness, and the subtle art of energy. Kings once used it. Monasteries still honor it. And if done with the right mindset, it can bring more than just material wealth. It brings clarity, peace, and the strength to rise again. I know many of us feel overwhelmed watching prices go up while hope seems to shrink. But listen, you are not cursed, you are not meant to suffer, and you are absolutely not too late to rewrite your story. Today, on The Journey of Wisdom, I'll show you how hiding 3 bay leaves in a specific corner of your space can open the door to abundance, not just in money, but in joy and spiritual harmony. But first, if your heart is open, send your energy into this circle. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. I welcome abundance with peace. Let's begin. Number 1. Why 3 bay leaves? The bay leaf is far more than a spice tucked into the back of your kitchen shelf. For thousands of years, it has carried with it an invisible but powerful energy recognized across cultures, empires, and spiritual traditions. In ancient Greece, the laurel crown, made from bay leaves, was not a decoration, but a divine recognition. It was placed upon the heads of poets, philosophers, and champions not just to honor their achievements, but to signal that their greatness was blessed by the gods. Similarly, in ancient Rome, victorious emperors and generals wore laurel wreaths to show their connection to higher authority, to spiritual order, and to the favor of unseen forces. And this wasn't just symbolic, it was a deep cultural understanding that true leadership and abundance are not earned only through hard work, but through alignment with wisdom, virtue, and inner clarity. But the sacred nature of the bay leaf doesn't stop there. In Eastern spiritual traditions, and in many parts of Latin America, healers and shamans have long used bay leaves in ceremonies to clear out stagnant or harmful energy. A dried bay leaf, when burned or gently placed in the home, was thought to absorb invisible heaviness, fear, doubt, scarcity, and in its place, invite renewal, flow, and prosperity. Even without modern language for energy fields or subconscious beliefs, our ancestors instinctively understood that the spaces we live in and the symbols we surround ourselves with deeply affect our mindset and well-being. The bay leaf came to represent not just honor or victory, but protection, purification, and the quiet opening of a new path. In Buddhist thought, this connects closely with the idea that our outer reality reflects our inner state. The bay leaf becomes a reminder that change begins within, and the energy we hold shapes the life we live. So why 3? The number 3 is not just a number, it's a universal symbol of balance and transformation. All around us, nature and life unfold in 3s: morning, noon, and night. Creation, preservation, and destruction. The body, the mind, and the spirit. Spiritually, 3 points form a triangulone of the most stable shapes in geometry. It represents wholeness, unity, and energetic flow. When we use 3 bay leaves intentionally, we are not simply repeating a gesture, we are activating a deeper pattern, a sacred structure that helps us move from fragmentation to harmony. Each leaf speaks to a different layer of our being, one to the material world, one to the inner emotional world, and one to our spiritual unseen world. Together, they create a bridge between thought and action, between hope and experience. And yet, it is not the leaves themselves that hold the magic, it is your presence, your attention, your readiness. Used with clear purpose, the bay leaf becomes like a key, helping unlock old beliefs and open new possibilities. The number 3 adds strength and shape to that intention, giving it structure so that it doesn't drift like a passing wish. It grounds it into a rhythm that your mind, your heart, and your body can understand and respond to. In this way, a small, quiet act becomes deeply powerful. It's not about superstition or trying to control the world with rituals. It's about choosing to realign, to shift from scarcity to enoughness, to move from doubt into quiet confidence, and to begin remembering that abundance is not something you chase, it is something you allow. Number 2, the psychology and energy science behind ritual. Let's get something clear right from the start. This ritual with 3 bay leaves isn't some mystical trick or magical shortcut to instant wealth. It's not about superstition or fantasy. Instead, it's a deeply symbolic, psychological, and energetic practice, a conscious act that only begins to shift your reality when you give yourself the one thing you may have withheld for far too long: permission. And not from the world, not from your boss, your family, or your past. Permission from yourself. You see, we move through so much of life on autopilot, don't we? Checking boxes, doing what we're supposed to do, hoping something out there will finally change. But real change doesn't respond to routine, it responds to presence. When you take a moment to perform a ritual like this one, it's not the leaves that hold the power, it's you. It's how you show up. Are you distracted, doubting, or rushing through it? Or are you present, intentional, and emotionally honest with what you truly desire? Because the difference between a ritual that empowers and one that feels empty is the energy you bring into it. Your sincerity is what gives the act life. Think of this ritual like a mirror, not the kind that shows you your reflection, but one that shows you what's really happening inside. If you come to it carrying doubt, fear, or frustration, those feelings echo through the process. But if you come with openness, with the quiet hope that maybe you're ready for something better, it reflects that too, and that's when the shift begins. So let me ask you, when was the last time you allowed yourself to believe that you were ready to receive? Not just money, but rest, peace, joy. So many women, especially those who have spent decades giving to others, scary silent stories. Stories shaped by sacrifice, by constant responsibility, by putting everyone else first. And somewhere in the mix, the idea that they too deserve abundance quietly fades. If this sounds like you, then this ritual isn't just about bay leaves. It's a doorway, a turning point. A moment to reclaim a truth that may have been lost along the way. You are worthy of ease too. The truth is, beliefs don't change just because we want them to. They shift through repetition, through intention, through small but consistent acts that tell the mind and body, it's safe to believe something new now. And science backs this up. Neuroscience shows us that our brain doesn't really distinguish between what's happening physically and what's happening vividly in our imagination, especially when emotion is involved. That means when you say, "I am worthy of wealth," with feeling, even if you're not there, yet you're planting something. A new signal, a new pathway. And every time you return to that thought, that phrase, that quiet moment of belief, you're reinforcing it, like watering a seed. Over time, those seeds take root. They start to replace the patterns of scarcity and fear with something stronger: confidence, clarity, and inner calm. So what if this isn't about attracting cash, but about making peace with your ability to receive? This ritual, at its heart, is not about what sits in your hand, it's about what stirs in your heart. It's a gesture to yourself that says, "I am ready now." And if you hold that truth long enough, your outer world starts to catch up. So let this be your reminder. You don't have to earn your worth through suffering. You don't have to feel guilty for wanting ease. You are allowed to want more, not just for survival, but for joy. The bay leaves are just symbols. Your presence is the real magic. And if you're willing to step into that presence even for a few minutes a day, you might just find that what you've been seeking has been waiting quietly inside you all along. So I'll leave you with this question. What would change if you finally allowed yourself to receive not just money, but the life you've quietly longed for? Because you can, and it starts with saying yes to yourself. If this message touched something inside you, comment below with this simple truth: I am ready to receive. No need to explain or overthink, just let those words be your first step. Number 3. Step-by-step guide to the 3 bay leaf ritual. The 3 bay leaf ritual isn't just about placing herbs in different places around your home. It's a quiet but powerful declaration to the universe, and more importantly, to yourself. It begins with preparation, not just of space, but of spirit. You're not doing this on a whim, or just following steps because someone told you to. You're stepping into a moment that honors your readiness to receive, your intention to shift, and your willingness to trust yourself again. So before you even touch the bay leaves, take time to create stillness around you and inside you. Turn off your phone, close the door, and let silence greet you. Take a few slow, mindful breaths. Feel the breath as it moves in and out, noticing where your body holds tension and letting it soften. This moment is yours. This is not about rushing through a checklist. This is about pausing long enough to say, I matter, my energy matters, I choose to connect. And with that intention set, we begin. The first leaf is placed inside your wallet, but not randomly or carelessly. Take the bay leaf in your hands and really look at it. Feel its surface, smell it. It's not just a leaf, it's a simple, natural object that now carries a new meaning. It represents a relationship with money that is no longer tied to fear or guilt, but to respect, trust, and ease. As you fold it and place it near your cash or cards, you are not just adding an item, you're transforming your wallet into a sacred space of flow. Every time you reach for your wallet from this point on, it will serve as a subtle but consistent reminder. Money is not the enemy. I welcome it into my life. I use it with care. I receive it with gratitude. This becomes a form of energetic anchoring, something small that shifts something big inside of you. It's not magic, it's mindfulness, repeated until it becomes second nature. Next comes the second bay leaf, and this one isn't for the outside world, it's for the quiet corners of your inner world, the deep subconscious where old beliefs often live unchecked. This leaf belongs beneath your pillow. As you tuck it under before sleep, you're placing a gentle intention into your unconscious mind. I'm letting go of old fear. I'm ready to receive without shame. I'm worthy of abundance. Why the pillow? Because the brain, during sleep, enters slower wave states. Theta and delta that are ideal for shifting old thought patterns. It's in those hours of deep rest that your inner narrative begins to soften, rewire, and change. The bay leaf isn't doing the work on its own, it's the physical expression of your willingness to heal, even while you sleep. It's like planting a small seed in fertile soil, allowing your subconscious to start releasing the stories that no longer serve you, and making space for new, life-affirming beliefs to take root. And then, the third bay leaf, the one placed at the entrance of your home, is the bridge between your internal shift and the world outside. This is the most outward-facing part of the ritual, and it's also the most protective. Think of your front door as a threshold, a boundary that separates your sacred inner space from the external noise and demands of the world. By placing a bay leaf here, whether it's tucked behind a plant, slipped into the doorframe, or hidden discreetly, you are symbolically creating a filter. One that says, only supportive energy may enter, only what aligns with my peace and prosperity is welcome. If you want to take this step even deeper, write your full name on the leaf. This simple act ties the intention directly to you, your name, your energy, your claim. It's a clear, confident statement. This abundance is mine. I welcome it not with desperation, but with quiet knowing. But rituals are most powerful when they are nurtured. That's why this process doesn't end once the leaves are in place. You're invited to commit to a 21-day energy cycle, a time of consistent presence, where the bay leaves act as living reminders of your intention. For these 21 days, keep the 3 bay leaves in their places, and more importantly, keep returning to the emotional space you created on day 1. When you open your wallet, say an affirmation, I trust money, I trust myself. Before you sleep, place your hand over your heart and whisper, I release fear, I welcome peace. And every time you walk through your front door, pause and affirm, I am safe, I am supported, I am open to receive. These aren't just words, they're reinforcements. You're rewiring your nervous system, your thoughts, and your expectations. And after 21 days, as energy moves and shifts, honor the process by replacing at least the 3rd bay leaf with a fresh one. This act of renewal respects the rhythm of energy and symbolizes your deepening relationship with abundance. You can refresh all 3 if that feels right. The point is not perfection, it's presence. So think of this entire ritual not as a formula, but as a form of tending, like watering a plant or feeding a fire. Each bay leaf is a small anchor for a much bigger shift, a physical expression of something sacred that's growing within you. And the more consistently you return to it, the more your inner world will begin to change softly, quietly, but undeniably. You're not chasing money, you're becoming someone who naturally welcomes it. And in doing so, you're choosing to let go of the old story that said you had to suffer or sacrifice to deserve a life of ease. The true lesson here is simple but powerful. You are not waiting for permission to be abundant, you are giving it to yourself, right now. Practical steps to say goodbye to poverty, Buddhist teachings. After understanding why the 3 bay leaves carry such powerful transformative energy, grasping the psychological and energetic foundations behind the ritual, and learning how to carry out each step with mindfulness and connection, now is the time to go further. From symbol to action, from knowledge to lived practice. Because, as the Buddha once taught, there is no path to happiness, happiness is the path. Transformation from poverty, both material and spiritual, doesn't happen through a single ritual, no matter how sacred it may be. It comes from the steady, simple, yet mindful steps we take every day. So, after placing the 3 bay leaves in sacred spaces within your living environment, how will you live to sustain and amplify that abundant energy? How can the seed that's been planted not only sprout, but grow deep roots for a life that is whole, peaceful, and blessed? The answer lies within you and in the following specific, practical, yet deeply powerful steps. Let us continue walking this path and allow the teachings of Buddhism to guide you from poverty to freedom, not by magic, but through awareness and compassion. Number 1. Cultivate right view. With our thoughts, we make the world, says the Dhammapada, a profound truth that serves as a starting point for those of us who wish to walk out of the shadow of poverty and into a life of meaning and stability. The Buddhist path invites us to begin not by changing the outer world first, but by turning inward, by transforming how we see things. This is the essence of cultivating right view, Samma, which is the foundation of wise living and practical freedom. Many people struggle with money, stability, or fulfillment, not just because of external obstacles, but because of internal misperceptions. We may see poverty only as lack of money, but often it is deeply connected to how we perceive effort, responsibility, karma, and even our own worth. Without a correct understanding, we remain trapped in cycles of blame, regret, or helplessness. As the Buddha taught, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. So to change our lives, we begin by changing the lens through which we view it. A practical way to start developing right view is by reflecting daily on cause and effect. Karma is not about fate or punishment, it's about seeds and fruits. Every action we take, whether it's in thought, speech, or behavior, is a seed. Some seeds grow fast, some slow, but all bear fruit. When we truly understand this, we stop wasting energy blaming others for our situation and instead look inward, asking, what seeds am I planting today? In modern life, it's easy to fall into the habit of blaming the economy, the government, our parents, or even luck for our hardships. While these things can play a role, we must not ignore our own power. True strength arises when we focus not on what others have done to us, but on what we can do from this point forward. This is not about guilt, it's about empowerment. As the Dalai Lama said, with realization of one's own potential and self-confidence in one's ability, one can build a better world. And that world begins with our own minds. To truly say goodbye to poverty, whether it's financial poverty, emotional emptiness, or spiritual lack, we must first recognize that understanding and effort go hand in hand. For example, someone might work very hard but still struggle financially. If they don't understand the laws of karma and wise livelihood, they might continue sowing seeds that bear little fruit, like engaging in harmful trades or chasing short-term gains while neglecting long-term well-being. Right view teaches us to be aware of both the visible and invisible effects of our choices. It helps us pause and ask, is this action wholesome? Is it leading me toward growth or just deeper into suffering? When we live with this awareness, every choice becomes a step either toward freedom or further entrapment. And by observing our minds, we begin to see how much our beliefs shape our outcomes. When we believe we're powerless, we act powerless. When we begin to believe we can change, that belief itself becomes a cause for transformation. In daily life, this means doing simple but powerful things. Journaling your actions and thoughts to notice patterns, practicing mindfulness when spending money or making choices, and replacing self-pity with gentle accountability. For instance, if you find yourself saying, "I'll never get out of debt," stop and reframe it. What small action can I take today that aligns with generosity, effort, and clarity? This is how change begins, not through miracles, but through consistent, mindful decisions rooted in a clear understanding of reality. As Thich Nhat Hanh wisely said, "No mud, no lotus." From the mud of our past, we can still grow something beautiful if we understand the process. So, right view is not abstract philosophy. It is the most practical wisdom. It reminds us that every condition has a cause, and every cause can be changed. Instead of labeling yourself as a victim of poverty, begin seeing yourself as a gardener with the power to change the soil, plant better seeds, and nurture your own growth. Over time, this shift in perception becomes a powerful inner wealth, which no one can take away from you. As we hold on to the thread of awareness and compassion, we slowly weave a new fabric of life, one where dignity, mindfulness, and personal responsibility become the foundation for lasting change. Number 2. Practice generosity. Dana. If beings knew, as I know, the results of giving and sharing, they would not eat without having given, said the Buddha, pointing us toward one of the most misunderstood, yet powerful truths about abundance. That true wealth begins with giving, not getting. This idea might seem strange at first, especially if you're someone who's struggling to make ends meet. You might ask, how can I give when I barely have enough for myself? But generosity, or dana as it's called in the Buddhist tradition, is not about giving what you don't have. It's about sharing from whatever you do have, even if it's small. What matters most is the intention behind it. Whether you give a little food, a kind word, a few minutes of your time, or a skill you've learned, each act creates a ripple that not only touches others, but also transforms you. Have you ever noticed how helping someone can leave you feeling lighter and more connected? That's not just emotion, that's the beginning of wealth, the kind that money can't buy. And this kind of wealth builds a strong foundation for outer prosperity to grow. Practicing generosity helps dissolve the belief that we are lacking, which is often one of the deepest roots of poverty. When we give even just a little, we tell our mind and heart, I have enough to share. That simple shift can start to reshape how we see ourselves and what's possible. Greed and fear shrink our lives, but generosity expands them. It opens the heart, and at the same time, it opens doors in ways we can't always predict. You might find new opportunities, better relationships, or unexpected support flowing into your life, not magically, but because the energy you're putting out is one of trust and connection, not of scarcity and isolation. And you don't need to make grand gestures to begin. Start with small, steady actions. Offer your attention to someone who feels unseen. Teach a neighbor how to use a phone app. Cook an extra portion and share it with someone who's having a rough day. These acts may seem simple, but over time, they cultivate something priceless, a generous spirit that naturally attracts abundance. What would your day look like if you made it a habit to give in some small way, every single day? Could that change the way you see your own value and the way others experience you? And more importantly, how might it shift your mindset from, I don't have enough, to, I have something to offer? These are powerful questions, and asking them regularly can begin to loosen the grip of fear around money, success, and self-worth. Generosity doesn't mean giving until you're empty. It means giving from a place of awareness and doing it with joy. As author Anne Frank once wrote, "No one has ever become poor by giving. That's because every act of giving plants seeds not only for others, but for your own future, seeds that may take time to grow, but will one day bear fruit in ways you may never expect." So the message here is simple but deeply meaningful. When you make generosity a consistent part of your life, you start creating the inner conditions for real abundance to take root. You purify the mind, soften the heart, and build the kind of character that naturally attracts trust, support, and meaningful relationships. And you do this not through force or pressure, but by remembering the truth that giving is not loss, it is liberation. So today, ask yourself, what can I give right now from where I am with what I have? That one question, asked daily, can slowly turn the soil of your life into rich, fertile ground where both inner peace and outer prosperity can grow. If this message speaks to your heart, comment below with, I have something to give. Let this be your gentle reminder that even the smallest act of kindness can open the door to true abundance. Number 3. Embrace right livelihood. Samma, Ajiva. One of the most important teachings from the Buddha that still speaks clearly to our modern lives is the principle of right livelihood, or Samma Ajiva, a path that encourages us to earn a living in ways that are honest, ethical, and compassionate. Now, you might ask, what does my job have to do with ending poverty? And the answer is, a lot more than you might think. Right livelihood means choosing work that not only supports your basic needs, but also contributes to the well-being of others, and just as importantly, doesn't harm anyone in the process. The Buddha taught that the kind of work we do has karmic consequences. It doesn't just shape our bank accounts, it shapes our hearts, our communities, and our future. He once said, "Just as a flower does not pick and choose the bees it offers its nectar to, the wise person does not choose gain at the cost of others' suffering." If our livelihood depends on dishonesty, exploitation, or creating harm, even if we become rich, that wealth is unstable, it carries seeds of suffering. So ask yourself, is your work creating peace, or is it adding to the noise and struggle of the world? For many people, especially those facing financial hardship, the idea of choosing work can feel like a luxury. When you're focused on survival, any job seems better than no job. And that's completely understandable. But even within those limitations, we still have choices, even small ones, that can shift our path. The first step is awareness. Are you doing work that makes you feel disconnected or ashamed? Do you see harm coming from what you offer? Or are you part of something that helps people, brings value, and makes the world a little better? Even small shifts, like choosing a more ethical employer, learning a new trade, or offering services in a more honest way, can begin to plant seeds for long-term stability and inner peace. Have you ever considered what skills you already have that could serve others? Maybe you're good with people, or fixing things, or teaching, or cooking, whatever it is. Those abilities are not just talents, they're potential pathways to ethical livelihood. And if you feel stuck right now, without a clear direction, don't lose hope. Many have started over, from nothing, simply by committing to learn something new that benefits others. Right livelihood isn't just about avoiding harm, it's about stepping into work that creates value, lifts others up, and gives your life purpose. And when your work aligns with your values, something amazing happens. You begin to feel proud of what you do, not just for the paycheck, but for how you show up in the world. This pride builds confidence, and confidence builds energy, and that energy becomes momentum. It's a quiet, powerful cycle that slowly lifts you out of poverty in a way that's deeply sustainable. As Thich Nhat Hanh said, our own life has to be our message. That includes how we earn our living. So what message are you sending with the work you do today? In closing, the lesson here is both spiritual and practical. When we align our livelihood with our ethics, we lay the groundwork for not just survival, but for a truly meaningful life. Right livelihood teaches us that wealth is not only measured by how much we have, but by how we earn it. So, I ask you now, what kind of work would allow you to sleep peacefully at night, knowing you helped someone and harmed no one? That question alone can open doors you didn't see before. Choose work that brings peace, not pressure. Choose skills that uplift, not exploit. And even if the path is slow, let it be steady and clean, because that kind of wealth lasts. Number 4. Train in mindfulness and discipline. Just as a solid rock is not shaken by the storm, even so the wise are not affected by praise or blame, says the Dhammapada. And in this simple yet powerful teaching lies one of the most important tools we can use to break free from the grip of poverty, mindfulness, and discipline. When life feels uncertain, when money is tight, responsibilities are heavy, and hope feels distant, it's easy to fall into reactive patterns, making choices driven by fear, desperation, or short-term relief. But this is exactly where mindfulness becomes essential. Mindfulness is not just sitting quietly with your eyes closed. It's the ability to stay present, aware, and steady, even when circumstances are difficult. It helps you see clearly what is really happening, both inside and around you. Have you ever found yourself buying something you didn't need just to feel a moment of comfort, or reacting to stress in a way that only added more trouble? This is where mindfulness steps in, not to judge you, but to help you pause, observe, and choose a wiser response. In this way, mindfulness becomes the gateway to discipline, and discipline becomes the bridge to freedom. To start developing this strength, you don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You only need a few minutes a day. Even 5 or 10 minutes of meditation can begin to calm the mind, reduce anxiety, and create space between your thoughts and your actions. As your awareness deepens, you begin to notice your habits more clearly: how you spend, why you react, and where your time and energy are going. From this awareness, discipline naturally starts to grow. Discipline isn't about forcing or punishing yourself. It's about learning to choose what's truly helpful over what is merely tempting. In a world full of distractions, being able to say no to impulse spending, to unnecessary drama, to energy-draining habits is a quiet superpower. The Buddha once said, "Better to conquer yourself than to win 1,000 battles." And isn't it true that the hardest battles are often the ones inside our own minds? Bringing mindfulness into your daily routine also supports contentment and non-attachment, two qualities that lighten the heavy load of always wanting more. In modern life, we're constantly pushed to compare ourselves with others, to feel like we need the latest gadget, the bigger home, the flashier life. But where does that lead us? Often to debt, disappointment, and deeper dissatisfaction. When you begin to train your mind to appreciate what you already have and to let go of needing things to feel whole, you step into a kind of wealth that isn't tied to your bank account. This doesn't mean you stop striving. It means you strive with balance, with peace, and without losing yourself in the process. So, how can you start today? Can you sit quietly for 5 minutes and simply breathe? Can you watch your spending for one day without judgment, just noticing your impulses? These small practices might seem insignificant, but over time, they create inner stability, the kind that cannot be shaken by outer storms. In the end, mindfulness and discipline are not tools for monks alone. They are practical, powerful skills that anyone can develop, no matter their background or situation. They help us navigate hardship without becoming lost in it, and they give us the strength to walk a steady path, even when the road feels rough. The lesson here is clear. When you train your mind, you train your life. And a trained mind sees opportunities where others see problems, finds calm where others feel chaos, and builds a life that is grounded, peaceful, and resilient. So today, ask yourself not as a burden, but as a gentle invitation: what is one small thing I can do to bring more awareness and steadiness into my life? That question, practiced daily, becomes the foundation of a mind and a life that no longer bends in the wind. Number 5. Associate with wise and virtuous people. If you find a wise companion, go with them, overcoming all dangers, says the Dhammapada. And this simple line carries a powerful truth about one of the most overlooked influences on our financial, emotional, and spiritual lives: relationships. Who you spend your time with directly shapes the way you think, the choices you make, and the direction your life moves in. If you're serious about saying goodbye to poverty, not just material poverty, but poverty of motivation, of purpose, of integrity, then one of the most practical and transformative steps you can take is to surround yourself with people who uplift you, challenge you to grow, and model the kind of life you want to live. Ask yourself, are the people closest to you helping you become more focused, disciplined, and kind? Or are they pulling you toward habits and mindsets that keep you stuck? It's not about judging others harshly, it's about choosing wisely. The Buddha often emphasized the power of kalyana, mita, or spiritual friendship, because he knew that no one walks the path alone. When you walk beside people who value truth, effort, and wisdom, their energy naturally rubs off on you. And the opposite is also true. When you spend your time with those who constantly complain, cut corners, or chase quick fixes, it's easy to start thinking that's just how life works. In today's world, where media and peer pressure are louder than ever, the people and content you surround yourself with have a huge impact on how you see money, success, and happiness. If your circle encourages laziness, gossip, toxic comparison, or unethical shortcuts, it becomes harder and harder to think clearly and stay grounded. So, it's worth asking, what kinds of conversations fill your days? Are they about growth, learning, and service, or are they filled with negativity and distraction? Protecting your inner space begins with protecting your outer space, which means being intentional about who you let close to your mind and heart. That doesn't mean cutting people off coldly, but it does mean shifting your energy toward those who want to build something meaningful. Look for mentors, people who have walked through hardship and come out wiser. Seek out ethical entrepreneurs, community leaders, or spiritual practitioners who live by example. You'll find that just being in their presence can shift your mindset. As Jim Rohn once said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." So, what kind of average are you moving toward? Building a supportive circle doesn't happen overnight, but you can begin by making small, deliberate changes, joining a meditation group, attending workshops, volunteering with people who care about others, or even following online teachers who offer genuine wisdom. The key is to stay connected to those who nourish your growth and hold you accountable with kindness. Over time, this shift in your environment begins to shift your thoughts, your habits, and your sense of what's possible. Suddenly, things that once seemed out of reach, financial stability, inner peace, meaningful work, begin to feel more attainable because you're not walking alone. You're walking with others who are also moving in that direction. So today, take a moment to reflect on the company you keep. Are your companions helping you rise or keeping you small? Are you being encouraged to live with integrity or pressured to settle for less? The people around you are either helping you build a life of clarity and purpose or distracting you from it. The lesson here is clear. If you want to change your life, change your circle. Walk with the wise, and you will become wiser. Choose community over isolation, and you'll find strength in connection. Because in the end, poverty isn't only about a lack of money, it's often about a lack of meaningful support. Let your path be guided by those who see your potential, not just your problems. And remember, real change doesn't come from waiting. It begins the moment you choose to shift your energy, your mindset, and your story. The 3 bay leaves are not magic on their own. They are mirrors of your intention, symbols of your readiness to receive, and quiet reminders that you deserve a life of peace, stability, and abundance. So be patient, be present, and keep walking this path with awareness and compassion. Because when you align your heart with wisdom, even the smallest actions can open the biggest doors. If you found meaning in today's message, please like, share this video with someone who may need it, and subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next step forward together. Until next time, stay mindful, stay kind, and remember, abundance is not something you chase, it's something you allow.